guys, it's Crystal. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make DIY fabric ornaments. What you're going to need is fabric, and you're going to need foam balls. These ones are 3-inch foam balls, and I got a package of these from, and I think it came with 6, right? 2, 4, 6. 6 of these for $4.49 at Hobby Lobby, but you can always use a 40% off coupon. So let me go ahead and click my video so I can see what you guys are doing. Hold on, guys. Okay, my sister's here, so that's what I had to open that door for her. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make these fabric foam balls. So you have 3 options here. So you can make this fabric one here. And so this one's like a, what was I going to say? Like a Shabby-Chic type of ball here. And there's this one, and it makes it look pretty big. And then you're going to have this one where you're going to cut 4 lines in here, and then you're going to push your fabric down so it'll look like this. And then you also have this one that's going to look quilted. So that's what these look like. So what we're going to do is, and then you have the foam balls like I said. Okay, so what we're going to do, they already know you're here because I told them. My sister's like, so slowly sneaking in. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to, hopefully I don't have a coffee fit this time. So I'm going to go ahead and work one by one showing you how I did these. So for this one here, let's go ahead and start with this one first. So what you're going to need for this one is fabric. So you just need little scrap pieces. So like you can see, this is just little scrap pieces here. But what I did to do an entire ball like this, I used a whole fat quarter. So you can get these at like Walmart for like 96 cents or something like that.
Very bad connection.
It does say that, but it's not. You can see I can see right here. So what you're going to do is, like I said, fat quarters. These are like 97 cents at, individually at Walmart if you don't have some scrap fabric on hand. So we're going to take this one here. And let me kind of move some stuff out of the way. And then you're going to need some sort of glue. I just use Mod Podge because that's what I had on hand. And you don't need dishwasher safe, but this is just what I had on hand. And then I used my little paint palette to put the glue in, but you could use paper, whatever you have on hand. So for this one, and you could use pieces of a jelly roll too if you wanted to. So let me go ahead and kind of move some of this out of the way really quick. Let's go ahead and get a foam ball, and you can start anywhere on this foam ball. And I was thinking too, you could probably take your, take your mini iron. I don't know if you'd want to take your easy press, but you could actually like iron on a letter. So like say for my name, you'd put a C, I would cut out a C and then iron that on so you could have that and give it away as a gift. So I think you could possibly do that. And I'll try to do that really soon so we can see what it's going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fabric here like this. And this is how I did this. And I cut these into 1 1/4 pieces of fabric. There goes my ball. But luckily I have a helper today. My sister's here. Okay, so what I did is I'm going to line my fabric up here on my mat, and I just have it in half. And then I'm going to, hopefully my chat's working today too. Somebody let me know if my chat's working on this one, because I know you guys had issues on the one before this one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this at 1 1/4, just lining it up here. So making sure I'm at 1 1/4. So that looks good to me. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rotary cutter, and I need to get blades for both of my rotary cutters here, so bear with me. Okay, so we're going to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and cut one more, just so I have enough to show you guys. But what you can do, it took me exactly 13 of these strips. So just so you guys know, it took me 13 of these strips, just depending on how full that you want it. Okay, so the chat's working. Thank you guys. Thank you, Guadalupe. Thank you, Laura. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut me another one. Alright, and then this is how I cut these. I just eyeball them to make it a little bit easier. So say you cut 13 of these strips. That's what it took me, 13. So I'm keeping them doubled up here. And I just eyeballed this instead of, at first I was using my ruler, and then I was like, you don't have to do that. So what I did was I just kind of found an inch mark and then came over 1 1/4 inches, so just right in between here. And then cut. So, and I'll just keep doing the same thing, just kind of coming over to the inch, coming over, and hold on, kind of confused myself. Okay, coming over 1 1/4 inches, and I'm just going to keep doing that. So give me just a second to cut a little bit of these up here. So I'm just eyeballing, like I said. It's no big deal. And you can use burlap or whatever you want. It's not burlap, sorry. I'm sure you could use burlap, but like a canvas fabric, duck canvas, something like that. That'd be pretty, like just a white one. And I'm sure you guys have probably seen this. Has been around for like decades. But I thought it would be neat to incorporate like your vinyl iron-on or something like that too. But these would be just a quick little gift if you're looking to give something, or if you're needing some ornaments for your tree. And this would be a fun project to do with your kids. So if you're trying to find something while the kids are out of school, this would be a good one. So I think that'll be good enough for now. So we'll just kind of work with this at first here. So let me go ahead and show you what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take and add just a little bit of glue, shaking this up. And like I said, you can use any type of craft glue. Like you could use Elmer's glue if you have that. But I didn't have any on hand, so I'm just using what I have, which like I said is Mosh Posh. But you could use any type of fabric glue or just whatever you have. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a pencil. You could take a mechanical pencil, this kind of pencil, whatever you have. And this is actually, I was looking for this before the video. I was actually using this. This is actually a Tombow pencil. You don't need this, but I just liked how it's like a regular, I couldn't find a regular #2 pencil, but that's what you would need, just a #2 pencil. This one's actually a little bit fatter. This is my husband's like construction pencil. So I'm gonna take my fabric here and I'm going to, the pretty side up towards me, I'm gonna just get this wrapped around my pencil like so, just like this. I'm just gonna barely dip the end of it like that in the glue, and then I'm just gonna take anywhere on my ball and start a spot. And I'm just gonna push down just a little bit like that. So there is our first spot. So then what you could do is set that there to hold your ball. So I'm gonna go ahead and take another one here and then just getting pretty close to it and pushing in another one. But I did this like while I was sitting there watching TV. I just took it over to the couch, set my fabric down, had them already pre-cut, and then set this stuff right on the couch next to me. Or you could set it on your little table or whatever and just sit there while you're watching TV and make some of these. And like I said, it'd be a great project for the family to do, to make a bunch of different. But this is something definitely to use your scraps, because you could do all kinds of mixed colors. And then if you've got like me, you've got a bunch of those little, like when you're cutting, like making quilts or anything like that, you got a bunch of little pieces like this. And you can cut them up and save them in a Ziploc baggie, and then, you know, save them for Christmas time for projects like this. Or you could just start working on them all throughout the year. So you're just gonna continue to keep going like this. So I'm just gonna basically do what I have cut so far, just to kind of give you an idea. And then we'll move on to the next ball, because you're just going to keep going, and you can start, like I said, anywhere on the ball. So you're basically just going and going and going. But I just want to do what I have here, since I already have it already cut. And like I said, reminder, it took me, what did I say, 12 or 13 strips, something like that. So I had like one strip left over out of a whole fat quarter. So basically it took almost a whole fat quarter to kind of give you an example of size as well. But I had these fat quarters. These came in like a bundle from Hobby Lobby I'd gotten for some different projects. So I had these left over and wanted to find something to do with them. And so that's what I did. But I totally think we could take our little mini iron and cut out a piece of iron-on and iron on like the initials or something on this. So I got 2 more to do. Like I said, I'm just kind of keeping these close together. Yes, definitely super simple. Okay, so just like that, and you're just going to keep going all the way around. And now you could cut these, hand me that one back. You could cut these a little bit bigger if you want it to be, or a little bit smaller, make it smaller, but this is what it starts out to be, and then it'll totally make it this big. And then what I did was to do the hoop here. What I did was, towards the end here, I took my jute twine, which you could take ribbon or whatever you want to take here. And you would do the same thing. If you have the ribbon, let me give you an example with the ribbon. And I have some of this one right here. I should have probably had it prepared. My sister's going to open that up for us really quick. And then I'll show you how you would do that one. But for the jute twine, what you would do, dip a little bit, take the end of your jute twine, cut it to size, and dip a little bit into the glue and just kind of lay it right there in between your fabrics. Hold it for a little bit so it can dry, and then swoop it around to the other side, do the same thing. Or you could take both ends and push it down into the foam ball. So whatever you want to do, but I had actually just laid both of these over, and it held up really well. So just glue those down like that. So now she has our ribbon ready to go, so I'm going to show you that right here with this. So I'm going to cut this about how I want it, something like, say I want it something like this, and I'll just take my rotary blade here and get that ready to go. So what I would do is take both ends and do the same thing. I'm going to kind of just get a little dollop of glue on it, which I'll probably just get a little bit on my pencil here, and I would find a spot like so and push them down in there. So just pushing it down in there, and there you would have your string already ready to go, and then you can just keep working all the way around it. So like that. And I'll probably cut that a little bit too long, but that's fine. You get the point. Okay, so next ball, let's see this one. So for this one here, what you're going to do is you're going to take your, no, I'm going to try some different. Okay, so what you're going to do, and you can use your, you could probably, I don't know if it'll be wide enough or not, but you could probably take some of your fat quarters here. But what you're going to do is take, what did I do with my bag of foam balls? Oh. My sister took them. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another foam ball. I'm going to use this to hold it here. Set that over there. That's the last one. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a knife. Amanda, look up in that. Have me just one of those knives right there. Yeah, that'll work. So what you're going to do is take a knife. This is very carefully, so this is probably not kid friendly. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your starting point, and you're going to just push down into this. So you want to create a line all the way around. You're just going to push down into this ball. The first time I did this, I did not push down far enough. I kind of just went over the top a little bit, and it made it so hard on my hands. Like, don't do that. Make sure you kind of go down a little bit into this ball. So I'm just going to cut a straight line, as straight as I can get this thing, all the way around. So let me go ahead and do that really quick. I probably should have had like a, this is more of a steak knife. You would need like a regular straight knife. Okay, let me try this one. My handy dandy assistant here. Okay, yeah, this a regular knife works a whole lot better. Okay, so you're just going to keep pushing this down in there. Okay, so giving a little bit more here, I think. We've almost got this. And I'm just going to cut this one side. I'm going to leave the other side for now. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you how I did this. So what I did for this, you can either cut them pretty precise, or you can kind of just eyeball this a little bit. Yeah, let me go ahead and see the center one, just because we're doing an example here. Or actually, hold on. Let me get another piece of this. Okay, so what I did was, you're just going to cut strips of fabric, and you know that you need, because you're going to need it about this size right in here. Okay, so I kind of know that I need it right in there. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball here, making sure that I kind of try to get it as big as I need it to be. And then you can come back and trim. So what you're going to do for this one is you're going to lay your fabric right on top like this. And you're going to take your knife again and just push that fabric right down in the edges. So this is another really quick one. But once you get this done, like you get it pre-cut for the kids, you could probably find something that would, because something else would push this, like a little small spatula type thing or something like that, you know what I mean? Like maybe a crafting, like a painter's little spatula type thing, plastic one, because it would probably just push it right down in here. So you're just pushing that fabric in there. Come back to this side so I'm not making sure I'm not yanking too much to that side. So I'm just pushing that in there. So I should have probably cut this line just a little bit more. So once I got all of that, let me go ahead. I got one more little piece. So you're just going to keep pushing that down in there. Okay. So once you have that all in there, you're going to kind of push what you can down in the cracks there to make sure it's going to hold it tight. And I don't do this until after I've got all sides done, because you don't want to pull too much to one side. You're just going to kind of push what you can down in there. And whatever you can't, you're going to come back and trim with your scissors. So I then take my scissors, and I have my little ones. Look up right there on the couch. And we're just going to trim around this fabric here. Just going to take your little scissors here, and your embroidery scissors would work best for this because they've got the little lip to do that. And whatever's remaining, you can come back and finish tucking it in. Now I was thinking for this one, this would also be a good one. So you could take, once you get your little square cut, and you know for sure it's going to be like your perfect sizing once you kind of figure out what sizes you need, you could actually do an iron-on. So you could do somebody's name this way, like Lily or something like that. And then on the other side, do Christmas 2017 or something. But iron it on the fabric first and then tuck it in here. And that way it would already be on your fabric. And that's another great idea for a Christmas gift. So, let's see. I'm just trying to finish tucking this so you guys can kind of see. So that's all you're doing all the way around. As soon as you get that done, you're going to take your jute twine or your ribbon, but the jute twine works best. You can kind of tuck it down into these cracks as soon as you're done with the whole ball, and wrap around like this. Once I get all the way back to one side, let's see, once I get to this side, I'll stop, twist my top here so it's going to hold in place, and then start coming this way. Once I'm done, then I will come up and make a loop, and that way it holds like this. So I'll tie off and make a loop. So that's how you did this one like this. Hopefully I explained that good enough. So that one I did not really like. Like I said, it was kind of hard on my hands. This one, next, this one I used a jelly roll. You can use regular fabric, whatever you want to use, scrap fabric. But the jelly roll, I had one already ready to go. And you need these to be 2.5 inches. So you know the jelly roll is 2.5 inches, so you want them to be 2.5, 2.5. So what we're going to do is you would take a strip of the jelly roll, but I don't want to cut any more of that. So I'm going to cut a strip of, I need that one. Oh, the regular. Nope, I need the regular. Okay. My sisters already got me ready to go, and I'm like, what are you doing? So let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and cut some strips here so I can show you guys how we're going to do this one. So we're going to take and cut the 2.5 inch strips, like I said. So this would be another good one for scrap fabric, or if you've got the scrap pieces of jelly roll, because you know you always got leftovers of those. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go right here. That's 2.5. Cut. All right. Whoop. I keep throwing those balls. I'm telling you, my sister's probably like, I'm not doing it anymore. All right. There we go. So that's, nope, I need to come down to 2. I'm going to leave that at the half. All right. So I'm just going to get some pieces here. So what you're going to need, I'm sure you guys may have probably seen this one as well. Yes, you could use ribbon instead. Yes, you could use ribbon instead, definitely. Okay, so let me go ahead and cut these, and I'm going to lay them right on top of each other. And we're going to I'm going to try to make sure they're straight here. And we're going to do 2.5. So here's our 2.5. And what you need for the very center piece, you need 4 pieces, and then you need 8 pieces and 8 pieces. And then for the, because you're double-sided, so you're going to need 8 center pieces, 16 middle, and 16 outside. So, let's see, we've got 1, 2.5. Am I correct? No, that's why, because I'm over some. There we go. 1, 2.5. All right. Sorry guys, I know I'm probably making this video super long, but I've been working on these and wanted to share. This is what I've been doing. This and quilting. All right. And let's go ahead and cut one more here. Here we go. All right. So like that. And you want these to be different colors, or you could do them all the same, whatever you wanted to do. But say that, let's just pretend these are different here, okay? So let's get 4 pieces here. And then what you're going to need for this project. So everything that you need for this, you're going to need your foam ball, fabric. So like I said, you need 8 pieces of the center, 16 pieces of the middle, 16 pieces of the end. Then you're going to need some sort of, I used another 2-inch piece of fabric here, and I used a piece of ribbon around the top. And then you're going to need pins. These are like tailoring pins. It comes with like 740 or 80 of them or something like that for $3 at Walmart. So, and you're going to need like 250 pins, I believe, to finish this project. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric, and this is how you're going to find your middle. So you're going to fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, and then crease it and find that little corner there in the center. And then you're going to take your little pin here, and this is on the ugly side, what we consider the ugly side, and you're going to stick it right in the middle. So then you're going to find wherever you want your center of your ball to be, and let's just say I chose this spot. You're going to stick it straight down in there, push it all the way down. Then you're going to fold the fabric towards you, and then you want to try to even these up as much as you can. And then you're going to fold it over just like that. You're going to pin your corner, and then pin your other corner. Now you can either overlap these center pieces so you only use 1 pin here, but I did not. I left them like side by side and put a pin on each side. So it's however you want to do that. All right, so we're going to do that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come to the total opposite here. You're going to do the same thing again. Now if you want to, you can just kind of try to eyeball it, but you really kind of want it to be precise. So that's just how I find the center. And this is another one. You can be sitting on the couch watching TV, you know, get all your pieces together already cut out and just roll with it. That's what I did the other night. So just kind of push that down, fold the fabric towards you. And this is another thing you could take and take some snowflakes or something like that, like fold your pieces in half and like iron on little snowflakes here and there, and then, you know, to stick these down. But fold them in half so you kind of know where you're going to be when you put these down. But I would do it towards the center because you're going to hide, or like right here on the ends of these ones. So you're just putting your little pins in, and you can put them however you want, like doing the center first and then the outer. It doesn't matter. Okay. And then get this other corner here. All right. And then we'll set this back down. We're going to do this other side. Now tomorrow I'm going to come back and I've got some stuff for my silhouette people. So we're going to be making some boxes for Tic Tacs and stuff like that. So I've got some projects for the silhouette people tomorrow. Now this is just, like I said, because we had I cut my vinyl and stuff. But you could have cut that with, for the quilts, you could have cut that with the Easy Press. I mean the Easy Press. I use my Easy Press, but you could use the Cricut Maker or a silhouette for that. So I'm just getting my corner down here. And Guadalupe, you could also use pieces of ribbon for this as well. If you've got bigger, thick pieces of ribbon, you could cut ribbon for this as well into strips like this. Because if you get the smaller balls, you could actually do some smaller pieces too. So, and if you wanted to, like if you didn't want this to be that wide of a thing, then you would bring these are 2.5, bring them up to like 3.5 pieces. So we're going to come right here in the center, and I'm going to do one more layer just to show you. And you're going to do the same thing I'll show you for the other side as soon as you get done with this side. And I'm going to show you how I kind of found my center. But there is tons of videos on this, but definitely wanted to incorporate my channel just down myself. All right. Pushing in, pushing in. Okay. And what I did whenever I was done with this layer, I took the back side of my pencil and just went over each one of the pins here to kind of really push them in, and it gave them this really pretty finish. It really did make a difference. And you can do this after you get your whole front done. You can just go over everything at one time, because that's whenever I did it, but I just wanted to show that. It just makes it look a whole lot smoother. Okay, so for the next layer, which like I said, you'd really want this to be a different color, but we're gonna roll with what we have. So, doing the same thing. And I'm doing this because I wanna show you where you're gonna start, but the last layer is gonna be exactly the same. So remember, this one's going to have 8 pieces. All right, so what you're gonna do, same thing like I did before. So you're gonna come down about a 1/4 of an inch, I think. So come down about a 1/4 of an inch, or if you want it to come a little bit, you could come down to about maybe, and actually, okay, so where you're gonna wanna start is, so you started with this piece right here, say it's this piece. You wanna come in between those. So you want to actually start on this line here. So where these 2 pieces come together, you actually want to start on this line. And come down about a 1/2 inch. My stomach's growling. Okay. So we're going to do this. So you're going to repeat and do the same process. But instead of going in the exact same spots as your first ones, like I said, you're just going to go over to the right. Right or left, whichever way you want to go. But you're going to do the same thing. We're going to do this one, and then we're going to go across, straight across, and do the other one. All right, so let's go straight across. So doing the same thing, just repeating myself. Okay, so we're going to come down about a 1/2 inch here. Okay, and we're going to do this. Okay, so where we live, I was going to tell you guys a story. So where we live right now, we live out in the country, and I mean not like deep out in the country, but we live out in the country, okay? But we've got neighbors. So we live like right up against the woods, and we've actually been dealing with a bear. So this has been going on for a little while, which you think they'd be hibernating right now, but I looked up in Arkansas and it says like January, February. So the bear about a month ago literally pulled out our dryer vent. So they took our dryer vent, which had the whole entire piping connected to it from under the house, ripped the entire thing out, stomped all over it, had teeth marks all over it. And then we had, like, for a while, like before this, the girls kept saying, my kids kept saying they were hearing like a growling outside and grunting, so my husband heard it as well. So we've been kind of keeping an eye out. No kids are going outside at dark. And the other night, I was out at the back door, and there was, I kept hearing, it sounded like a train. Because we live, I mean, there is a road kind of, you know, by us a little bit. So I'm just going, now I'm going... So I went across here, now I'm going across here. So we're just staying in that same type of pattern. Okay, so putting these down. So anyways, I was standing at the back door, and I was on the phone with my sister, and it was about midnight. And I heard this, like, I thought it sounded like a train or like a semi coming by and honking their horn, but I was like, it's like standing still. So of course, I'm dumb. I open the door, and I'm like, what is that? And I'm really like just sticking my head out there and listening. And then I look over, and there was a baby cub running straight at me. And I mean, I literally, you're talking feet. I literally, because for some second, and my cat is not that big, I'm thinking, oh, that could be my cat or something, you know? No, like your brain just thinks like that. And then I'm like, no, that's not my animal. Like I slammed my door really quick, scared the heck out of me. So my husband went and got a game cam yesterday, and we have it hooked to one of the poles on the trampoline outside to kind of help us see out back. So today when my husband gets home, we're going to look at it and see what's going on out there. Because I don't know if the baby cub, because the next morning when my sister came, we could hear it crying. So that's what I was hearing. The baby's crying. So I guess it must have lost its mother, which is super sad. And so we're going to see what's going on. But I don't know if we're going to have to call the game warden out here to get it or what. That's what I've been going through. It's crazy. Okay, so we're finishing up this one right here with the 4. So they're just, you know, you're coming down a 1/2 inch, and you're just spacing them just like you would these, except for they're apart like this. And then we're going to come and do the next layer now, which is still the same layer, but you're just doing here. So you're going to come in between the ones you just put. So let me go ahead and get my thing going here. But yeah, my daughter tells me, she's like, oh my gosh, because everybody was sleeping. They're like, didn't you just want to pet it? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm like, no. That thing would bite my face off. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down and we're going to just come right here, trying to keep everything even. So I may have to adjust this, so give me just a second. So we're just coming in between the two that we just did. And I think I want to say that I came down just a hair. So hold on. I think I came down about 1/4 of an inch between these two. I wanted to say, I think I came down about 1/4 of an inch. Let me look. I believe that's what I did. Okay, so I came down about 1/4 of an inch from these two here. And what I did was, instead of like, if it's going to be like a little bit wonky, make your star points wonky, just come over right or left. It doesn't matter. You know, you're not really going to notice that. So just come over just a little bit and fix that before you get too far gone. So we're just making that star is what we're doing. We're making a star in the middle. Okay, I just bent that one. All right. So let me go ahead and keep on pinning. All right, pin, pin, pin. All right, so there we go. And now I'm just going to come across, straight across from the one I just did, and do another one. And then you got 3 more pieces right now on this layer. And then, like I said, the next layer is going to be identical. So you're just going to do the exact same thing, and then you just flip it over and do the exact same thing to the other side, and then run like a ribbon around the middle. So coming down about 1/4 of an inch. Let me look at it and I'll eyeball it and make sure it looks good enough to me. Okay, that looks good. We're just making those points, like I said. So this one's just a little bit more time consuming, but like I said, if you're sitting there, you know, hanging out with the family, watching some TV or something, or you're at the doctor's office waiting on something to do, this little container, you know, seals up really good. You could, you know, pop this in your bag and this with your little scrap fabrics in a Ziploc baggie, and you would have something to do, definitely. Okay, so we've got 2 more pieces to do. All right. And this would be more of a fun project too for more of like the bigger kids, you know, about, you know, 12, 13, something like that. And this would also be like if the Girl Scouts or something like that's trying to find a project for all the little girls to do, this would be a good one. So, for more of like probably the teens. All right. Because they just come out so pretty. So see how that looks? I don't like that. So that looks a little wonky. See how this has got like a short leg? This is a big leg. So like all I do is, like I said, I'm going to come out of that center spot and I'm going to come over towards the left. And I'll just adjust that until I'm happy with it. So that looks a lot better, because you're not really going to, it looks a lot better that way than it would if you just left it and it looked wonky. So you're not really going to notice that it's not right on that center line instead of it just looking wonky. So just pinning, pinning, pinning. Like I said, we're almost done. We got 1 more piece to put on this, and then I'm going to show you all guys to finish it up. So let's see, 1 more piece here. Isn't that looking cool? But like I said, you could either do this all solid 1 color, or you could do them multiple colors. And this would be another thing for little pieces of scrap. If you've got little pieces that like kind of on like a little weird triangle type piece of, you know what I mean? Just cut these off and square them up on scrap fabrics when you're making stuff, if that makes sense. So I'm coming down about 1/4 of an inch. Make sure these look good to me. My points. That looks good. So see, now you can see that star really good. So let me bring that up there so hopefully you guys can see that really good. So that's what you're going to look like. So you're wanting these points right here that I was talking about to be perfect. So like I said, if you need to move these over just a little bit from the center, that's perfectly fine. So what we're going to do is we're just continuing to pin off. Just make sure that I got that up there. Let's see. And another thing too for this, you could always, if you don't want to like fat quarters or anything like that, you could go get like 1/4 inches of fabric, you know, quarter you know what I mean, quarter yard of fabric. You could do stuff like that because, you know, that'd be cheap too. So remember to push down. So once you get done with your layers here, just go around pushing around all your, this just helps it have that really pretty quilted. It really does help with the look of it. And then make sure you get all of your points here. So see the difference? You can see where I've pushed these in compared to how this is kind of pushed up. Hopefully the camera's kind of picking that up. But once you push these in, it really helps. It just really does. Okay, so you just continue to push all those. So you would have one more layer to do, and you would do it the exact same way. So let's see, hold on, let's see. Oh yes, definitely, Guadalupe. That would be really pretty. That would be super pretty. So what you're going to do for the next one, you would start here. So you would take your next piece and you're going to start here, then come across here, here, and here. So where it's wide open for this star, that's where you're going to start. And you're going to do the same thing. Come down about a half an inch. Come down about a half an inch here, and then go back and forth. And then when you get to these layers here for the next one, you're going to come down a quarter of an inch. And I'll try to put that down in the description as soon as I get back home. So what you're going to do to find your center for your next side, this is what I did. Because you're going to do the exact same thing for this side. And then when you're done, to hide all this right here, you would just take your, wait, I have a gold one open. Like say these were already right here, you would take your ribbon or fabric or whatever and you would run it around just like this, and you can just put, you know, you could do for your whole little loop if you wanted to hold it up, but you could pin these down. So you could, let me go ahead and show you all that just to kind of give y'all an example of what I'm talking about. All right, so cut this. Okay, so say that we're already done with this, and this is the piece that you can see to hide everything. So you're gonna get it down, and then you're gonna pin it. Put your one pin on each side. And I'm just halfway just doing this just to kind of show y'all. Okay, and then you would take your smaller ribbon here, and you'd cut a piece. Let me go ahead and cut a piece of that just to show you. All right, so you would take this here, make your little loop here at the bottom, get it right where you just pinned, put it down there, and just put your pin. You could put in 1 or 2 pins, whatever you feel comfortable with, just like that. And there you would have your little string to hold it with. Yes, I'll glue them on. Or if you're gonna glue on your flat pearls and your sequins, yes. But you could also glue this on as well. Okay, so now let's just say that we're trying to find the back side because we want to be completely even. This is what I kind of did. So you know that where we started was actually where the holes were, so this would pretty much be where you were. So what I did was, I probably shouldn't have did that on there to show you an example, but say this is the exact center, but I'm going to come over just a little bit to show you. What I did was like kind of stood it up like this and just eyeballed. So that way I could kind of see exactly where I needed to be. But with this one, since I started, let me kind of bring it up so hopefully you guys can see it. Can you see that little hole in the center there? It's exactly on the exact side. So if you start where that is, this should be exactly in the same spot. So that's how you can find that. If not, if you kind of started somewhere random, just find where you think the center is, put your needle, and then hold it upside down and kind of stand it, because you want that when you stand it on the thing, you want your tip to be right in the center. So I hope that makes sense to go ahead and finish that out, and then you would have this right here. And like I said, it totally makes a difference when you sit there and push all those pins in. It really just helps out. And then I just ran that ribbon, and I did the jute twine. You could do, like I said, the ribbon or the jute twine, whichever one you wanted to do, but that's what it'll look like. But like I said, you could always take and do some little iron-on pieces of snowflakes on here too to make it, you know, or do like an initial or something in the center. Or if you were going to have your piece of fabric here for the center, you could iron on a name for the center and then, you know, put your fabric on there. I really wouldn't do it unless you're going to use your mini iron with the foam ball, because I think it would just be way too hard to try to do this. You know what I mean? So, because you would have to try to hold this still. I think it would just be way too hard to try to attempt to do this. Same thing with this one that I was talking about. That's why I was saying to use your mini one, because I think you're going to have to hold your ball. So, I mean, you could kind of steady it if you want to and use it. It's just totally up to you, totally preference. So, I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry it took me so long. Thank you guys for being here with me again. I feel super, super blessed. It makes me feel good when you guys come here with me every single day. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, Guadalupe.